Well, I'm Mexican, so they had a saying ECC se puede, ECC podemos ganar la copa, right? And I think about soccer teams, how they create this amazing nationality, they create this amazing fandom, right? And I start thinking about how can I build that within our community. And one of the things that I started asking our community is like, what does UndocuStartup mean to you, right? Because I know what UndocuStartup means to me, but what does UndocuStartup mean to you? Startups are usually companies that go really, really small and then they go exponentially. And I was like, why don't I build something like that, right? Because UndocuStartup is a startup in its own. But to me, it means that we are thinking outside of the norm. We're thinking outside of the box. We're thinking that there's no limits, right? And UndocuStartup was made for somebody that is tired of hearing no's, kind of like myself in that situation. And then from there, once we put the name of UndocuStartup, we started then saying we are the leading entrepreneurship program, because although everybody else can do something similar.
Welcome to UndocuStartup by Juan Maya Hernandez.
All right, so welcome to today's episode of UndocuStartup Weekly, where I share the biggest lessons that I've been learning building the #1 entrepreneurship program for undocumented students. If you're an Undocu student liaison and you're struggling to help your Undocu students get into entrepreneurship, please visit www.undocustartup.com. Again, that is www.undocustartup.com. Now, in today's episode, I want to talk about the 10 marketing principles, that's lessons that I've learned from the moment I had UndocuStartup as an idea to now that we are operating in California. Now we're trying to expand to other states. So let's jump right into it. All right. Lesson number 1. Words matter. All right. Words matter because they are going to determine how people first understand who you are and what you build and what you sell, right? And who you do it for, right? When UndocuStartup came to be, the name of the company was Prepare, right? Because my vision was that what if we can help every undocumented student prepare for the job market? That was kind of like the vision. I was like, what if we can help them? They don't have preparation, right? And I wanted to brand it under that. But it wasn't until I started meeting a undocumented millionaire. I actually met a millionaire over the phone, DACA millionaire. I talked to him. I told him my vision, what I want to build, the long-term vision, 10, 20 years from now. And he's like, why don't you name it towards the community you're trying to support? And he gave me some examples of other organizations within the community that also do something like this. And they had the word undocu, and since that conversation, I was thinking about how can I sort of implement that into the program? How can I implement it to what I want to do, into the vision and everything, right? And my vision was always like, all right, if we can help people get into entrepreneurship, start making their first dollar, eventually you can help people scale, and eventually you can help people retire through their company. That's the big vision, right, that we want to do. But there's no like single word that determines what we want to do and the vision that we have, right? But then it came to me. One day I was eating lunch and it came to me and I said, why don't I name it UndocuStartup? I was part of different startup accelerator programs, entrepreneurship programs. And startups are usually companies that go really, really small and then they go exponentially. And I was like, why don't I build something like that, right? Because UndocuStartup is a startup in its own. But to me, it means that we are thinking outside of the norm. We're thinking outside of the box. We're thinking that there's no limits, right? And UndocuStartup was made for somebody that is tired of hearing no's, kind of like myself in that situation. And then from there, once we put the name of UndocuStartup, we started then saying we are the leading entrepreneurship program, because although everybody else can do something similar, we are leading because not only did we start first, but also I believe our vision is a little bit different because we are not a nonprofit company. We're going for profit because that's the only way that I see us being able to fulfill our vision moving forward. So words matter. All right. So whenever you have a business, you could either be, let's say you have an ice cream shop, right? You could either be the ice cream shop here in Los Angeles, or you could be the best ice cream shop in Los Angeles. And when you start calling yourself, you have to first believe it, right? You have to market it to yourself. So then the external world starts believing in your idea and your business, etc. Right? So words do matter. That's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 is to solve the transformation, not the program. All right. When I started pitching this to different people, different clients, different partners, I would start off by saying, hey, this is what they do, etc. But I never led with the transformation. Now, what I end up telling people is like, okay, we just help people get their first client. We help people understand how to legalize their business. And they at least have that roadmap, that step-by-step roadmap that we develop over the years for any undocumented person to monetize, right? And when I started kind of going towards that side, everything became easier. People started understanding me, and my proposals were easier, and I got a lot more yeses. So definitely sell the transformation of the program, because sometimes it's hard for people to understand. So what is the end result? And lead with that. All right, the next lesson is to give first and monetize later. Right, I had one of my students tell me when I was running a free entrepreneurship program nationwide virtually. He told me, why are you doing this? Why, you tell me that you have these clients and they're the ones paying you. Like, obviously this is a free program. Why are you doing this? And I told them, the reason why I'm doing this is because number one, I'm going to get more practice. Number two, I get to connect with founders like you. And number three, I get a lot more information on if my program is working or not, right? Instead of just doing a program in California, if I have students from other states, I'll be able to get a lot more information on the challenges in other states. Do people think differently? Are the people think the same? Are they facing the same problems, the same challenges? And that's going to allow me to improve the program not only in California, but also outside of California, right? But yeah, the vision is to eventually monetize. The vision is to eventually have a way to help people at scale, and you're only going to be able to do that if I have a revenue coming in as a for-profit company. Now that could change in the future, right? I mean, obviously I've considered turning UndocuStartup into a nonprofit. That's something that I thought about early on, but I think with the vision that we want to do, we kind of have to go down the for-profit route unless we have no choice. But yeah, this is the next principle. Like, always make sure you give first, right? I always tell the founders in our programs, and even I did this when I did photography, is if you give something for free, it's going to be much easier for people to say yes. And when you get that first yes, it's going to be much easier to continue getting those yeses moving forward. All right, the next lesson is that trust is hard to earn and easy to lose, right? So you got to make sure you protect your reputation. And the biggest thing that I'll tell you is, like, the person that ended up giving us the first opportunity to run a program back in 2024, they are no longer our client. They're no longer our partner. Now, why did that happen? It happened because I overpromised and I underdelivered, right? I promised a lot of different things on the contract. And then when things got hard, when I started selling this to other partners, I ended up removing it. So I did not fulfill my promise. And I've tried checking in with them every single year. They haven't come back, and that's okay. But that was like a big lesson and a hard pill to swallow, that, like, just because somebody told you yes, and just because you have somebody's trust, it doesn't mean that they're going to be there forever, right? So make sure that you protect your reputation, and whatever you say to your clients, you fulfill. So don't over promise and under deliver. Now, the next lesson is that marketing is about reducing uncertainty. And what does this mean? It means that the people that are buying from you, they have a problem, and they're hoping that you are going to be solving that problem, right? And I've learned how to do this over time, right? That the way that I reduce uncertainty is by providing a 30-day money back guarantee. So if people have limited budgets and they're not sure if this is something that they want to invest in, I always give all of our partners 30-day money back guarantee. As long as they let us know, I'm happy to refund their program. It has never happened, right? It has never happened in the past. But the ways that we've also reduced uncertainty over the years is having success stories, having testimonials, having other people that have gone and sell at farmers markets, and we include that in our proposals, right? When we go ahead and do that. And that is something that, although everybody else may be able to copy our program, or they're trying something similar, they're not going to be able to copy our success stories. They're not going to be able to copy our framework. They're not going to be able to copy certain things. All right, the next marketing lesson is to own the relationship. All right, the problem that I've had with other social media platforms, even though I have followers on there, we have 2,000 on UndocuStartup's Instagram. I have 25,000 followers on the TikTok, my personal TikTok. But one of the problems that I had was during the time, there was actually a time where TikTok got shut down, and I had no way to connect with people. I had no way to connect with my clients. I had no way to connect with people that had gone through our past events. So what I ended up doing was I started a newsletter, and now we've grown that newsletter to over 1,000 people. And what I've learned is, like, if you actually own a marketing channel, it's much easier to connect with them. Next lesson is to get more from every action. You know, what I've learned is, like, every bootcamp comes with success stories. Every bootcamp comes with wins, comes with different quotes. And I started thinking about how can we use this to start marketing it, right? Because when you look at least I'm a big soccer fan, but when you look at soccer, they post a lot of highlights. They have a certain identity. And I'm like, how do I build something like that for UndocuStartup? And that's one thing that I've learned, you know, like, recently we hosted a fireside chat. We turned that fireside chat into a Instagram post, and then we turned that into a podcast, and then we turned it into a YouTube video. So there's a lot of ways on how you can use one action to get more from it. Lesson number 8 is to give people an identity, build a movement, right? I don't know if you guys watched the World Cup, but I was watching the World Cup, and during the World Cup, well, I'm Mexican, so they had a saying "Easy se puede, easy se podemos ganar la copa," right? And I think about soccer teams, how they create this amazing nationality, they create this amazing fandom, right? And I start thinking about how can I build that within our community. And one of the things that I started asking our community is like, what does UndocuStartup mean to you, right? Because I know what UndocuStartup means to me, but what does UndocuStartup mean to you? Every testimonial has that question within the programs. I ask them, what does it mean to you? And I think if we can get people to connect, we're gonna be building a bigger movement. And we've been seeing it now. I mean, people want to reach out, share their story, become a mentor. Even the millionaire that I connected with, he recently reached out and he said, "Hey, I'd love to share my story." So it's all about this movement. It's all about with what is our saying. And I think for me right now, the saying is that there's no limits, and what can we actually build moving forward with the company. I guess the biggest lesson here is that like if you can make people feel something and involve them, they're gonna stick around. And then the last lesson is that your price is part of your marketing, right? You have to position yourself as you grow, and your pricing is gonna determine who's gonna be able to purchase it, but it's also gonna determine how people view you, right? If you're the cheapest option, people are gonna be like, you're like another workshop person, another people. But I do remember that when the first institution gave me an opportunity. They actually did tell me we have nobody else to compare you to because of my pricing, because of what I was doing, right? So you communicate something to the world with your pricing about what your value is. And this might mean that a lot of other people are not able to buy it. And I've shared this story before, but I've done two types of contracts, right? So there's contracts that pay me less than $1,000, and then there's contracts that have paid me over $1,000. And the contracts that have paid me less than $1,000, they were the ones that were asking for more check-ins. They were the ones that needed me to do this, and check in with them on this date, etc. But the ones that pay me $1,000 or more, they don't really care. They just said, "Hey, we send you the check. When can we get started? What are the things you need me to do? Can I send you more information? Can we set the dates?" And that's the difference. So whenever you're thinking about pricing, give a price that makes you slightly uncomfortable, because that's what you're going to communicate to your clients, the people that want to buy your product or your service. All right. So those are all the 10 lessons. So let's just do a quick recap. Lesson number 1, works matter. Number 2, sell the transformation, not the service. Number 3, give first and monetize later. Number 4, trust is hard to earn and easy to lose. Number 5, marketing is about reducing uncertainty. Number 6, own the relationship. Number 7, get more from every action. Number 8, give people an identity. And number 9 is that pricing is part of your marketing. So with that being said, everyone, please go ahead and share this. If you found this helpful, share it with another Undocu founder. Share it with somebody that needs to hear this. And remember to be motivated and stay motivated, baby. I'll talk to you soon. Very soon.
Welcome to UndocuStartup by Juan Maya Hernandez.